So, can you tell me what else you found? Because I know that you have something, has some information in regard to non-terrestrial officers. Is that right?
Yeah. There was an Excel spreadsheet, and the title was non-terrestrial officers. Then it had names, ranks. It wasn't a long list. Didn't even fill the whole screen, I think.
Well, could you just generally say how many? I mean, if you were to guess, are we talking 20, 50?
20.
Uh-huh.
Maybe 30.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice if they were male or female by chance?
That I can't remember.
Okay. First names and last names?
Definitely ranks, but nothing to say, Army captain or Navy captain or...
So the designation wasn't there as far as which organization they worked for. Huh.
So, I mean, that was entitled Non-Terrestrial Officers, and obviously it's not Little Green Men, so I was thinking, what force is this? And that phrase is nowhere to be found on the web or in official Army documentation or anything. And the other thing was a list of ship-to-ship and fleet-to-fleet transfers. Bear in mind, fleet-to-fleet, so multiple ships, of materials. And these ships weren't, US Navy ships. Again, I don't remember any of the names, but I remember at the time looking and trying to match up the names, and there wasn't anything that matched.
So, now this theoretically would have been pretty top secret information if indeed non-terrestrial is what it sounds to be, which is off-world, right?
Yeah. I mean, I gleaned from that information, I surmised that an off-planet sort of space marines is being formed. And if you actually look at DARPA, Defence Advanced Research and Projects Agency literature at the moment in the last few years, and a lot of the government space command stuff, it's all about space dominance, and it really is, the final frontier. So I think, it's natural for them to want to control space and be developing a space going forward in secret. But I think most likely using technology reverse engineered from ET.
To get out there, in other words.
Yeah, and also to be cloaked. I mean, otherwise, how many other governments would see this going on?
So, and this was, what part, I mean, was this NASA? Where was this? Are you at liberty to say?
Again, I wish I was. I find it so hard to remember all of it. It's strange, I can remember IP addresses, but lots of the names and where I was when I found particular things. I remember thinking at the time, this must be NASA and the Navy, and all, secret parts thereof. So it was either the Navy or NASA I was in, most likely. I think it was most likely the Navy, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. So at this point, this kind of a discovery is really stupendous, right? I mean, for any researcher to come across something like that is pretty intense.
If what I surmised to be correct was correct, and it does kind of point that way, I think.